max pull-ups?
Sure, yeah.
When people don't know much about running, they start off way too fast.
As a racer, we don't do a whole lot of push activities.
Eventually this guy, I'm gonna break this dude, right? It's in every sport.
The first video that came out, I went around and asked a bunch of pros, Chase Sexton, Ricky Carmichael, some legends of the sport, just what their numbers were. Just really curious to see like how fit are these motocross and supercross athletes? What kind of numbers are we talking? And so this weekend, when I was in Vegas, I had the pleasure to sit down with Brian Deegan, Ken Roczen, Cameron Macadoo, and Justin Barcia, and just ask them what kind of numbers they're putting out and watch Phil Nicoletti's last race. Good job, Phil. Also, too, it was cool to get, I got some philosophies, like really like training philosophies. Really, Brian kind of went in depth on just like his training philosophies with Haiden. And it actually, it might surprise you kind of his thought process and kind of how simple his thought process is when it comes to training. So it was really cool. Had some great interviews with these guys. Thank you for letting me come in and interview them. And I hope you guys enjoy the video. All right, Brian, we got some fitness questions for you, answering on Hayden's behalf.
Okay.
I feel like Haiden is really physically fit this year, but not a lot of people really understand what he's doing or really know what he's doing.
Yeah.
I know he's kind of down there with Swanee's team, Star Yamaha compound training, but you've seen the whole progression, right? Fitness-wise, how much of an emphasis do you have on like running, cycling, strength training, just to get him physically ready? Give me some examples, I guess.
Yeah, it's easy to look at Haiden and be like, man, he must just train his ass off. He doesn't get tired. He's there at the end of the moto. A lot of guys fall off, you know, in the top 3 or 5 don't. And you're like, how does that? How can I do that? And I'll be honest, with Haiden, he's, from the time he was a kid, he's always been an athlete. He's always done other sports. Always is eating right, always organic, always eating good food. Never grew up on bad food. I think that had a lot to do with it. His diet's really good. You know, he goes to bed early, gets up early. I think that's your key. I mean, I don't want to give away all our secrets, but it's kind of the common sense ABCs. It's not the secret formula that he takes and like, you know, it's just like doing the ABCs correctly.
So one thing for my dad instilled in Jeremy and I was like, hey, I'm not going to make you get out of bed in the morning and go run.
Yeah.
It's going to have to come from you. Was that, were
100%.
you telling Haiden, hey, get your shoes on and go for a run? Or was Haiden kind of
I've
motivated?
never had to tell Haiden go train. Not once. Not once. You know, there's been times where like, hey, I want to go ride at this track, come with me. But as far as like, dude, we've always had a track at our house, so he just gears up rides. He works extremely good off a schedule. Like, he's the schedule guy. If he doesn't have a schedule, he's kind of like, we'll be lost. So fortunately, he checks all those boxes for a trainer. And he listens, likes to learn, high-level learner. You can feed so much information at him. He retains it. So that's critical. But overall, like I said, his diet, his sticking to the program, and searching. What are other people doing that are champions? What do they do? Like, as you study, take a little bit from everyone. And that's what we do. I think in the end, is it something special? No. It's being good at the ABCs and sticking to it, not cutting corners. I said, hey, if someone tells you to do 20 bench press, whatever, do 21. That's the game, right? You always do a little more. And your teammates and everyone around you will be like, damn, baby. Just start breaking everyone. That's the next step, right? It's just to break people, dude. And that's sports, dude. That's sports, everyone, man. So, I mean, you know, it's the deal. Like, you're gonna run a pace, eventually this guy, I'm gonna break this dude, right? It's in every sport, dude.
Do you have any idea kind of like longest run he's ever done or like longest bike ride?
I would say he's not a long distance runner. When he runs, he'll go in the morning for 2 or 3 mile jog to warm up. I'd love to go running more with him, but he's more of like his cycles with Swanee. They'll go like their longest cycles, I don't know, probably 100 miles. You know, they'll go like their long trip. Like when they go for like their Hell Week deal, they cycle like far, a lot farther than I would. But like that's probably his thing to build base is cycling.
So the endurance part.
The endurance part, Other than that, dude, I couldn't even tell you. I'd love for him to sign up and be a triathlete. I'd love him to like, you know,
Are we seeing Haiden like bench pressing 200 pounds in the gym or deadlifting?
Yeah, he's
250?
fortunately naturally kind of muscly. Fortunately, thank God, and he's but muscle-wise and weight-wise, he don't lift heavy weight. He can lift decent weight, but not like he goes to the gym with Smitty would smoke him in the weight category, you know what I'm saying? But he's still growing. He's just turned
Right,
18.
Smitty's got 10 years on him.
And Smitty's a man strength. Hayden's not to his man strength yet. I'm telling you, that's going to be the next level, is when he hits his man strength. And I think that's another year or two until he fully develops. I mean, you don't really start developing until about, 21, 22, really? Yeah. So I feel like he's still got another step. For sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I feel like a lot of people talk about bike setup, line choices, whatever, but the fitness side for me is really interesting. And Jeremy and I especially, like you were mentioned other sports, like I really paid attention to like cyclists, triathletes, runners.
Yeah.
They have doctors and scientists studying in the laboratory.
Yeah.
And so I feel like there's a lot to gain there in terms of that data you can kind of gather, So
and that's coming here soon, if it's not already here, right? Training at that high level. I think that's our next step, is getting Haiden a high-level fitness coach that does all his meal plans, that does all his vitamins, what does his body need. Trust me, we've studied all that, which is exciting because that means there's another step still. There's another level. We're not even at his highest level. Like, there's still many levels to go, which is the cool part about it. And to him, it's intriguing to him, and I think that's the exciting part about the sport. But like you guys, I remember watching you guys, you knew you weren't going to fade, right? I remember watching you guys at the local track. You guys would be doing your 40s, just not at the local Cali tracks, you're nonstop, bam, 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 doing your motos. I think motos, my opinion, are a thing of the past. I know you might not believe that, but that's the old school way. I think you have to do your 40s. You have to do your 40s, right? Yeah. But you have to do that 100%.
Well, and that's one thing I realized training with Swanee that year is I went from doing 40s to more one-lappers, two-lappers, quality sprints, and that brought my speed to another level.
Exactly. So these races are usually won in the first 5 laps. You get where you need to go, then your fitness better kick in, right? But I say, it's a sprint race league. It's a Supercross, and this is sprint. Outdoors, not so much. But I could go on forever on how to, what I think to do on that. But I feel like Haiden, we're still guinea pigging with Haiden, still seeing what works and what doesn't. There's stuff he's done that just doesn't work. We've had that happen with the bike, with him physically, with what he eats. Yeah, we've hit the dead end many times. So but it's part of the process, and I love it. That's the part I love about this sport is just learning and trying to figure out how to get better. I love that about racing.
Yeah. Well, I'd say you're somewhat in the ballpark. Brian results. I think you're in the ballpark.
I think we're in the ballpark because the way he was raised, the demographic, the world he was raised in, and his will to want to win. He just doesn't want to lose, So that's half the battle, dude. If you have a racer that's okay with losing, you're gonna have a tough road, dude. You know what I'm saying? But when I say losing, it doesn't mean I didn't get first, but maybe your goal's 5th, maybe your goal's top 10. You got to have those little goals to accomplish and be realistic, right? Like, you just got to be realistic. Did I think Haiden was going to be this dominant this quick? Nope. Like, I didn't. I thought it was going to take him 2 or 3 years to start winning races. I underestimated him and our development program. I underestimated him. Yeah. So, but anyway, I feel like a lot of people are watching, right? And we put everything out on the internet, and I don't see anyone else doing that, right? And I think we've been pretty open about.
Well, and that's what I like the Troll Train blog, and outdoors. It was kind of like everything's so guarded and so secret, but it doesn't necessarily have to be,
No.
And I think for the sport to progress and for the fans to come involved, it helps.
Yeah, you can tell. And this is what I'm eating. This is what I'm drinking. These are the runs I'm doing. This is my time. Here's my secrets. You still have to go do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still have to go do it. And that's where most of the people fall off. So, anyway, I can go on about my whole philosophy on it, but you'll see. You'll see it play out.
Appreciate it, Brian. Thank you. Great info. So fit, dude.
Meathead, dude. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Dude, so you're, I'd like to ask you a couple fitness questions, right? 5K run, 10K run, our longest run.
I need to pull up the Strava to know what my times are. I don't keep track of it. I feel like I'm an okay runner. I don't run much, but I feel like I can run pretty fast. Pull-ups. Let's think about pull-ups.
Gosh.
Wait, max pull-ups?
Sure, yeah.
I don't know what max is, but I can pound out. I hate the half last one, so I always do full ones. So I feel like, easily 10, for sure clean 10, but I don't know, I haven't done a max pull-up since I was probably a little kid.
Yeah.
So I don't know what max is.
Do you run much?
Not anymore.
No.
I don't, I was.
Yeah.
And then this year's been pretty tough on my knees and stuff, so I haven't ran it.
It's hard to be a lifetime moto guy and be running by the end of your career.
It's a bit sad. Sport beats you up a little, but no, I have
Longest run?
not even long runs, mate. Like
No?
no.
4 miles?
Yeah. Like no, I've probably done easy 10 miles. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I know you've done some long bike rides.
yeah, like
Yeah.
100 miles. Done one of those. Been close to 2 of them probably. But it's just like, man, when racing, it's so hard. And after the season, you want to shut off. But I like to ride my bicycle for fun. I don't feel like I'm got crazy records or anything, but I love riding bicycles.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say you're generally a fit dude.
Yeah,
You definitely dive into that sort of thing.
I like to feel like I'm fit. Kind of been doing it on my own this last year.
Yeah.
Learned a lot over the years. It's hard sometimes alone, but I'm making a big move next year. I'm going down to Eldon, so
Okay.
I'm really I'm excited to see what it's about. I've heard a lot of different stories, so
Yeah.
I'm excited to work with Eldon and see what that's like, and hopefully it'll
What year are we going into? What year of our career?
like 2009. What is that? Like 15.
Okay, so I made it 14.
Yeah.
The year, and I started in 08, ended in 2020.
I started in
You're on 15.
15.
Yeah.
So I think I got 17, 18 in me.
Yeah. So do you feel like, how old are you now? 30,
32.
32. So do you feel like you've really dove into the recovery,
I saw that.
HRV, resting heart rate?
You know, I feel like recovery has been the last couple of years have been major for me to like up my longevity in the sport, and I feel like that's just the world in general. We're learning and we're adapting, and like, you know, coming back from injuries and stuff, it's been a difficult season. I'm not gonna lie, it's it sucks going out here. Mentally, I'm like, I want to be with these guys, but right now I'm just not in that position.
31 races is gnarly.
Yeah, I wish I would have made them all, but yeah, we live and learn. But yeah, recovery's huge, man. That's what's keeping me going, is taking my body, learning things. You know, the feed, I work with feed, and I'm always trying to learn things.
Yeah,
That's nice.
I actually saw you in the newsletter.
Yeah, it's in
other
the
day.
newsletter. I made it, dude.
I was so
I was stoked. Yeah, the guys, they told me I was going to be in it, and it was really cool.
I was looking at your race day nutrition protocol. I'm like, pretty much on par with mine right there.
It's pretty, like, basic.
What's the recovery routine right now for the shake? What shake are you using?
Right now I'm doing Momentous
Okay,
shake.
that's like Lionel Sanders.
Yeah, Lionel, he's absolutely perfect. But so Momentous right now. There's so many good brands, so I'm like, I'm always trying to test stuff and learn, but you can get carried away, you know.
Yeah. All right. What's the post-race dessert?
Oh gosh,
we going?
post-race dessert. Gosh, that's a good one. I think I did a BAM TV. We were eating chocolate chip cookies and milk in bed.
Oh.
That was actually really nice. But like, I love ice cream, so probably like chocolate ice cream.
Yeah.
Nice. Just got in there.
There we go. All right. I'm into it. Thanks, dude.
Thanks so much.
Good.
All right, Ken. Let's take your secrets. So we got some fitness questions.
All right, hit me with
I feel like they're I feel like I've seen on social media people talking about your fitness, whatever. I trained with you at Moto Sandbox for 5 years, you know, which was fun, the golden age. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about like some fitness stuff. 5K run, 10K run. Do you have any like your fastest 5K, 10K run?
So lately, I have done a race before, only once actually, and that was during the time where I was hurt with my arm. I wasn't racing. But at one point, you know, I started picking up things and started working out again. So at that time, like, it always depends, right? Like if I work up, since we are racing all the time, you know how it is. It's really hard to get really good at one thing when you're still riding and stuff like that, because, you know, riding takes priority. So then when you can train without having to, you know, put racing and riding as a priority, you can focus and hone in a lot more on it. So throughout my career, I have to say, I've probably had a lot of I've always been a runner, obviously, and you know, you go through stages of your career where I really enjoyed lifting and lifting pretty heavy and get pretty strong that way, and then I had times where I was pretty good at running just because I did it more often. I've actually been swimming a lot lately, but so during
NTC?
At NTC, yeah. So when I was hurt with my arm, obviously I was building back up, and but it was, I'm trying to think, I think it was throughout Thanksgiving, but I think I ran a 5K race, and I had a 6, like in the low 6s, 6:05 or something like that, average pace. Obviously, it was super early in the morning, and I did the whole night. I'm like, okay, we're gonna go there. It's just a fun race, but I'm gonna get up super early. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna spin for like 20 minutes just so I don't freaking pull a hammy, right? And so yeah, I think it ended up taking me like 18 minutes or 18 and a half, somewhere around there. But there were people there that went sub 14, like 13 and a half, which is, some people are ripping. But the tough part is with the 5Ks, they're so short that they're just extremely intense, right? Like instead of like something longer distance where you kind of get into that runner's high and a pace. Not saying you always have to push yourself, but like the short ones, I mean, they're
You're down to 10Ks.
Not a race. Obviously, I've ran 10K. Like that's like my average run that I would normally do. Like I hardly ever.
So that leads into the longest run. What's the longest run you've ever done?
The longest run I've ever done, so back in Germany when I was training, and it was actually quite miserable because my dad wanted us to run 2 hours, and me and my friend Timmy, we started running. It was pouring rain, and we put trash bags over our over our heads and everything, which obviously that didn't last long, but we ended up, I don't remember during that time exactly how far it was. I think it was 20-something kilometers.
Probably went
early
14 or 15 miles.
Yeah, I would say. So it was probably 20-something in the bottom of the 20, like 22 kilometers or something like that. But anyway, I remember it was an hour, 58 minutes and a half, because we made this massive loop, and we didn't map it out to see how long it would actually be. But it ended up, we started from my friend's house, made a massive loop, and we ended up at my grandma's house, but it was 1 hour, 58 and a half, and my dad ripped us a new one that it wasn't 2 hours. It's
so
just
you
funny.
cut it short by 2 minutes.
Yeah, okay, a minute and a half, something like that. So it was kind of funny. But so lately, maybe the longest run I've done in the past couple of years was probably 12 miles, 11, 12 miles, something like that.
Yeah, okay.
It just really depends, right? Like I said, with riding and stuff, when you go these longer distances, it does really hurt your riding. So I do enjoy focusing on something when I don't have to worry about riding so much. So you can get better at something. And because people look at running as like being a pain in the ass, and nobody really likes running, and I love it. First, if you can do a great workout in a short amount of time, a lot of people don't have time. And realistically, I think when people don't know much about running, they start off way too fast, you know what I mean? And I'm like, dude, you don't have to be miserable when you first start running. Like, you're almost supposed to run the pace where you can actually like talk a little bit, you know what I mean?
Right,
so
comfortable.
I think people just get comfortable. People get too miserable right away, take off way too fast, and it's like, you have to build up to like a certain pace, you know what I mean? So like, I really enjoy running, but also me being from Germany, we had terrible weather throughout the winter, right? So cycling wasn't really ever in the books for us. So that's when I grew up running. So I do enjoy running a lot.
So that leads into strength training. I know you do a lot of good stuff in the gym, deadlifts, front squats, right? You're really big on that mobility. What's like an average deadlift for you, weight wise?
An average deadlift, so I don't really lift anymore with Olympic bars. I do the trap bar.
Okay.
I did have a stress fracture in my back a while back, and that was giving me problems at one point. Though, when your glutes, your hamstrings, your core, like all that kind of stuff is pretty strong. It like I haven't had any lower back problems forever, but I usually do the bar when it comes to deadlifting. And lately, I haven't lifted heavy much because like with my knee injury, like I still had a little bit of pain around my kneecap and stuff like that. So trying to, in between races, just trying to maintain some stuff. I'll go up to maybe 225 or something like that. Like just something to keep, kind of like keep it active, you know what I mean? And not go completely ballistic, because between riding and, it's been hot too, so recovering on a Monday and, going to ride on Tuesday and stuff, like it's not really the time to go ballistic and lift heavy, because you gotta feel good again.
How about bench press?
Bench press, I would say for a 1 rep max, I would probably be, let's see, a plate on there is 135. I can definitely do quite a bit more than my body weight, so I would say I could probably, for 1 rep max, I'd say 185, 180.
Okay. How much do you weigh?
I'm about 160 right now.
Okay. Yeah, so it's more than your body weight.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I could definitely do more than my body weight.
Yeah.
So I think 185 would be a tough one. But yeah.
And I remember you kind of talking, you like the front squat, right?
Yes, I do front squat.
Yeah.
Back squat, because of my like elbow injury and the way like my arm turns, like I don't really have the mobility to really get the bar on my back. So I've always front squatted, and I front squat with my arms just kind of crossed over in the front, you know what I mean? That's the most comfortable. And
great for the core.
Yeah, exactly. Like any kind of lift, right? You really want to hone in on your core.
Yeah, I think your rice is done.
Need that right session. But yeah, so definitely anytime you lift heavy and stuff, like you have to really brace your core and have a strong core for sure, for safety reasons.
Yes. Cool. All right, Cam, got some fitness questions for you. What's your fastest 5K runs or 10K?
My fastest 5 miles would be, I think it was like right around a 6:45 pace average. So I've never really done it full time though. I think I could for sure beat that if I really wanted to be grabbed out.
Yeah. All right, and then push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups. What's Nick Way got me doing these days?
Nick Way's got me on the bench press grind. You know what I mean? So we're trying to get my push-ups up better because, like, as a racer, we don't do a whole lot of push activity. So I was fairly weak there a few years ago when Nick and I started working together. But I could do 50 push-ups, and then pull-ups. Another thing I was struggled with a while ago, and we've put a lot of emphasis on, but just due to my scapulas, I broke them a few times. And I could do 12 unbroken pull-ups, but that's shoulder release at the bottom, slow reps, like not fast momentum swinging around, like very structured pull-ups. So get 12.
All right. Longest bike ride? What's our longest bike ride?
Longest bike ride is 113 miles. Yeah.
Okay.
But I've got my fastest century I think was 4 hours and 40 minutes.
Dude, that's ripping.
So we were ripping.
Yeah. Who were you with?
It was the Tour de Morin in the Carolinas.
Yeah.
So it's a huge group, and I went with the front probably 5 guys. They broke off because there's a lot of sag stops, so you can grab Gatorade or whatever people want. And I was like, I'm gonna dig to see what I can do. And we probably broke off at mile 30 or 40, and it got real quick because they were wanting my help just as much as their help, and then I think they kind of, just by the looks of them, they raced. You know what I mean? They were very legit, and I was just letting them, like, guys, I'm just trying to hang on as long as I can.
I'm a moto guy.
Yeah, I race moto. Like, I'm about 2 strokes away with like 10 more watts from my hamstring completely locking up.
Yeah.
So I was like, but I was pretty proud of that one, even though I wasn't solo. But I've done some solo sub-5 centuries by myself.
That's pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
And I know you've done some like 10-mile long runs and stuff. Like, what's your longest run?
I've done I think my fastest half marathon was like an hour 29, I want to say. So that's I think my longest run ever was 18 miles.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll do a marathon eventually.
Yeah.
When it makes sense for me.
It's a good retirement project.
Yeah.
Oh, those are some legit stats.
Yeah. We Nick and I spent some time up at the Cresta too in California. That's really fun. I love it. We love the climate. So yeah, we'll do it.
Cool. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, sick. Thanks,